So definitely not. Like it's really not happening like that. But by the way, this is not something that I cracked. It's very messy in my mind. It's the way I work today, which I'm sure it's not optimal. It's I just get dragged from one thing to another thing. So I do not decide to work on anything. It's a little bit like the environments and like people are deciding for me what I should work on. It's very messy, but it kind of works for 5 projects. Maybe it's not going to work with 10.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Confessions of a B2B Entrepreneur. My name is Tom, your host, and today we have a big episode. We have Tibo on. Now, Tibo was the co-founder of Taplio and Tweet Hunter, sold to Lempire, and now Tibo is doing something very interesting where he is finding co-makers for small bootstrapped SaaS companies. Well, small at the moment, they're growing. And he is then doing the distribution for all of them and also building his personal brand at the same time. With the goal of getting them all to 100k MRR in the next year or so. Making great progress, a must follow on Twitter. And so we dig into that strategy, how he's doing it, how he's doing distribution for 5 products, the impact of the personal brand, how he's finding those co-makers in this episode. So please listen. I really enjoyed this one. Before we jump into this, shout out to Fame for producing the show. Please go to fame.so if you like a podcast like this one. Let's jump into the discussion with Tibo right now. If you're building a B2B SaaS product or AI agent, check out GearHard. They're not just a dev shop, they're founders who built and exited their own startups. So whether you're validating an idea, already scaling, they know how to meet you where you are. They've helped launch 70 products, including Smart Suite, which raised $38 million. Right now, Confessions of a B2B Entrepreneur listeners get a free strategy session and 20% off validation, discovery, and prototyping throughout September. Hit the link in the description to claim your slot. Tibo, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So when I say we, I mean you have a very interesting way, it seems, of building B2B companies without funding, with like social first, AI first. So here's essentially what I want to dig into in the next 30 minutes is what we're currently doing to build these bootstrapped SaaS companies. Does that sound good to you?
I don't know if you know about it, that I did the opposite first and I failed like at least twice. That's why I changed maybe.
Interesting. So actually, let's give context, but I don't want to spend too long here. So prior to Taplio, are you saying that you built other things and raised money?
Yeah, it's kind of like you hear every day, if you want to be an entrepreneur, that you hear that you need to be the next Facebook. So you need to hire big bunch of money, to hire huge teams, like to go big. And so that's basically what I did when I got out of school. I did that twice, actually. I raised money, hired big teams, and it didn't work.
It didn't work. And then, so when you say when you said it didn't work, you probably like learned a lot, right? But maybe you just like it financially, it wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely. If I had to like do things again, I think I would have done this pretty much the same way. I learned a lot. These 2 failures allowed me to get a job that I would have never had without those experiences. Like I got to be a CTO in a big scaling startup, managing a team of 30 engineers with a very big salary, when I don't know, like I think my peers were like way behind in terms of career and stuff like this. So yeah, it was still a super insightful experience.
Got it. And then in the end, it did like work out the way you wanted it to. And then was that when you started building stuff on your own? I think it was Taplio and Tweet Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. And was that solo or did you have a co-founder for those 2?
Sorry? What?
Did you have a co-founder for those 2 or were you the only person?
I had a co-founder my entire life. Like I need someone to think, basically. Like I need to I need the ping pong to get ideas.
And was it the same co-founder for both or one each?
Not really. Like you mean the 2 failed startups or the successful ones?
Taplio and Tweet Hunter.
Taplio and Tweet Hunter is basically the same products with the same co-founder. who is the person that I created my very first startup with, which failed. But this time we got together and like we had this crazy experiment where we basically wanted to ship one new product every week until something stick. And so we shipped something like 10 failed products, which didn't work. But the 11th one was Tweet Hunter, and it took off from basically day zero.
And that was roughly like 2020?
2021. Yeah. With COVID, I basically quit my job, started again startuping. And like because of COVID, I guess there was like no way to get to the office. You had to work from home. So we had this amazing async, no meeting, fully remote like vibe, which like kind of forced me to get some social interaction on Twitter, I guess. And that's how I started building in public, which was an amazing thing for me.
Which we'll also get to later on. And then what made the two of you decide to sell those two businesses?
I think we were just like scared, like just afraid about like things were going so fast. We were getting like so much growth. Like it was just like basically like the was so scared about this happening so fast, and at the same time scared of everything collapsing from one day to another without us getting any money from that. So and I'm saying this, and at the same time we started this product with the idea of building this, grow to 10K in monthly revenue, sell, start over. And repeat the cycle. And it didn't really happen like that. It grew much more than 10K. We took more than a year to set it. And then what we didn't anticipate was that the acquirer of the product would ask us to stay 2 years in business to like as a transition period because the amount was so big.
But did you guys do that?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Cool.
It ended a little bit before the 2 years because like we had some disagreement and we find a nice way out. But yeah, we still I think we stayed something like 1.5 years.
Epic. And the total amount I think is public with the $8 million for the two of them, the total amount for the deal.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It would have been 10 million if we had achieved all our goals. But we didn't. But still, it's pretty nice amounts. Like the deal was like 2 million upfront, and from 2 we could scale up to 10, depending on milestones that we have to achieve. And I think we achieved 5 out of 6 milestones, so we got 8 million instead of 10.
Epic. And so after that, you could have just, I guess, gone us out on a beach with your share of the cash, but you didn't. And this is what we're here to talk about today.
It didn't even cross my mind.
So as it stands today, I think you have 5 products that you're working on. Is that right?
Yep.
And the goal is to get
5 products that are public.
Oh, okay, cool. So let's just talk about the public ones. And the goal is to get them all to 100k MRR.
Yeah.
And they're all, it seems like they're all between like 30 and 60. Is that right?
Not really.
Okay. So some, I think Outrank at least is a 60 that was announced like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we have others that might be a bit lower. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Can you explain to me how you're working on 5 products?
With everything happening in AI, the thing that's basically, I think I'm scared of being of becoming useless. I'm afraid that my skills are not worth anymore in the future, and so I'm driven by this like wheel of staying relevant, I guess. And so I wanted to shift to basically going into distribution entirely. Distribution to me means mainly being active on socials, but it also means ads, SEO, and this other kind of stuff. And the more I was working on those, the more I realized that distribution, like from one project to another, is very similar. Like you have a lot of ways that you would do the same in similar products. And so I thought that, so if I have to spend a lot of energy growing my X accounts, if I have to spend a lot of time working on my newsletter, it would be better if it could serve multiple products. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Like I'm spending a lot of money on my newsletter. I try to deliver very high quality content without any sponsor, like no ads, but I talk about my products. And I do it in a way which I think is also relevant to my audience.
Roughly what amount of your working hours would you say are you investing in the personal content through X, through the newsletter, etc.?
What do you mean? Like what do you mean exactly?
Like how much, let's say you work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
How many of those are on the personal content? Is it like 2 hours or 4 hours?
That's a good question. I think it used to be 30 minutes per day at the tweet and through Taplio time. And it's getting to maybe something like 1 to 2 hours per day. So it's bigger, and something that I just tell myself quite often is I should expand. Like I should be more active on LinkedIn and maybe other networks, which I know very little. But yeah, I try to grow this part of my time.
Makes sense. And so you're able to do just distribution because you have essentially co-founders who are doing the building for each of the 5 public projects, right?
Yeah, with this works very well. By the way, I would try to call them co-maker, maybe, because like we have this structure which I really like, which is more like product oriented. Not every single project is a company. So we have partnerships in place which cover the products instead of having the huge burden of having to create a company to host the products, etc.
Interesting. So you might have one company that you own, and then you're working some kind of deal with each co-maker so that they get paid or they get ownership.
Yeah. We have what we call like distribution rights, where like let's on any product, for example, we would say like 50% of the profit will be for me, and 50% of the exit, if any, is going to be for me, and the rest is going to be for you.
Got it. And how did you find these co-makers?
Twitter. Like this is amazing how talented, how easily you can find talented people on Twitter. Like one of my products come from a tweet where I was just asking for people to plug their products. I was just randomly scrolling. Like I didn't even have the intent of finding a new product to partner with. And one of the founders just dropped the product. It was very relevant to me, very relevant to my audience. The maker was very talented. He was building super fast. So we talked a lot, and we ended up partnering up on the products, and I'm now working on it. It's called PostSyncer, by the way. Allow me to plug it.
PostSyncer. Yeah, of course. We're going to link to all of the products below.
Nice.
To get some even more attention. But I think here's a critical thing here, and maybe one of the key success factors for the growth that you're seeing is that you yourself are technical, right? And so this, like, I think that allows for a very probably a productive relationship with the co-makers, because it's not like you're some non-technical co-founder who have no idea what they're talking about when you bring them product feedback, for example. Like you guys can probably collaborate, they're building, but you like know about it, right? And so you can work with them more effectively.
Yeah, there is a project where like Revid is my biggest project. It's a video making tool. On this project, I'm still coding myself. I'm coding in a more growth way. Well, I will build the growth features, but I still code. And I guess the way I talk about like my ideas and my feedback, they are like it's prompt friendly. Meaning I'm pretty sure like my co-maker can just copy paste my comments, put it on cursor as a prompt, and it will build the thing.
Got it. Well, yeah, and you're able to do that because you have the technical skills and knowledge of AI. Back to distribution though, you mentioned that the primary thing you're doing is building your personal brand, which is then bringing attention to the products. But then it seems like you're doing other stuff as well, like SEO, ads, etc. And so your point earlier about when you're doing growth or growth for products can be like the same thing. Does that mean like on any given morning, you're like, I'm going to work on SEO today, and I'm going to work on SEO for 3 of the companies because it's all similar SEO work. Is that your thought process?
So definitely not. Like, it's really not happening like that. But by the way, this is not something that I cracked. It's very messy in my mind. It's the way I work today, which I'm sure it's not optimal. It's I just get dragged from one thing to another thing. So I do not decide to work on anything. It's a little bit like the environments, and like people are deciding for me what I should work on. It can be like a Twitter DM where the guy is going to complain about something, which will give me an idea, which I'm going to write on Cursor to implement a feature. And while it's going to generate, I will check my Slack message where one of the co-makers is going to drop an ID, which I think is awesome, but I have a slight variation of this ID, which might be even better. And while we're talking about that, the Cursor feature is going to finish. And so I would just get back at it and test it. And at the same time, I will just write a tweet about this process. So it's very messy, but it kind of works for 5 projects. Maybe it's not going to work with 10. Maybe I should stop here. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds chaotic, but also it sounds like you can manage it, and it sounds like you can be productive.
Yeah. The one thing which is tiring, I'm not doing long hours. Like I spend a lot of time with my families. I'm lucky enough to be able to spend time with my kids. But still, like it happens very often that I get ideas about the business stuff while I'm really not working. So the tiring stuff is that it's always in my head, and so having so many projects make me kind of think about all that constantly.
Got it. Were all the products like partially built, or at least the co-maker had the idea before you got involved, or were you also there at the idea stage and then you found the co-maker?
The 5 projects that I'm currently working on, yes, they do. I'm not the one with the original idea. Some I acquired them and some I just joined.
Got it. And like for a co-maker that's like very talented at building, but maybe doesn't like marketing, doesn't have an audience, it's quite a compelling offer that you have, even if you're not going to give them any cash, to be like, let's partner on this. I'll do the growth. We'll split the profits. It seems quite compelling.
Yeah, it really depends on if it works or not. It's hard. It's very hard to advise people on doing that because it truly depends on the guy. It worked for me in both situations because like on Twitter and Taplio, we did exactly this by partnering up with a distribution guy. And we did it once with Twitter and we did also with Taplio, and it worked with both. And I'm now doing it again, but I am the distribution guy. So I like very much this system, but obviously if you are just partnering up with the wrong person, it's not going to work.
You have to choose the right person. And so I presume that most of the 5 are profitable. Are you taking that cash and reinvesting it into the same product, a different product, or like taking it out and doing something else with it?
So all of them are profitable, basically, because even the smallest one, which is like the new baby post thinker, like this video scheduling app, it's only doing 200 per month, but it basically has no costs, like just hosting costs, which is like 100 per month, something. So it is profitable, even if it's very low. The thing is, all my projects, they have something in common, is that they don't require big teams. So they are pretty much all their costs are usage based. If there is usage, they cost a lot, but they also profit a lot. So the very important mindset shifts from how I used to work before, where I used to spend money that I didn't have. Whereas right now, I'm spending money that I have. So I'm not investing anything except when I acquire a new product. I'm just spending the money that the monthly recurring revenue allow me to spend.
And you're spending that in like reinvesting into the products or from something else?
Like what would it mean to reinvest in the products? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it means exactly.
Well, you mentioned that you're running ads, right? And so that'd be
Yeah.
an example where you would.
So good example. Like I'm running ads, but ads needs to be profitable for me to run them. Like I will not do like what Coca-Cola would do, where they would just spend awareness, like spend money on ads to raise awareness. I will not do that. I will just create ads that should be profitable from start. If the ads are not profitable, I would just shut them down. So it's not really about like spending money, like reinvesting. It's about like spending money which like are getting back right away, basically. And just to go back to like investing in your products, the way I used to do that is hire a team to work on the product and making it better. And I cannot do that anymore because I'm not hiring anyone. Like this is kind of a law of how I want to work right now, because I want to maximize freedom. I don't want to have employee. And so I cannot hire. And so I cannot spend to improve the products. It's just us building it. Does that make sense to you?
It makes total sense. And probably what's also then forcing you and the co-maker to do is invest in AI for building and also for probably support as well. Like obviously you do as much as you can, but that's also going to push you forward in that dimension if you have the constraint of not being able to hire.
Yeah, definitely. I had this conversation with one of my co-maker, which was afraid of spending 100 or 200 or 400 USD in AI, like in just AI cost to actually build the software, like in cursor cost. And I was like this is like a tenth or a hundredth of what we would spend in employees. So like go for it. It makes things so easier.
And are you planning to add more products to the roster? I think you mentioned going up to 10.
I'm saying like the way I mentioned that is in a way that I probably shouldn't. I don't think I can do that without changing the model entirely. And that would mean like hiring someone, like finding a way to scale this being. I don't think, like for now, I don't see how it would be possible, but maybe I will find a way. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you could like trial with new ones, and then if they're more promise, maybe you could like churn out some of the other ones that like sell them or put one on maintenance mode, you know?
That would be a way.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. And so let's say you get to 5 at 100k MRR in the next year. I think I saw in the tweet thread that we'll link to below that will be, if you're 5 at 100k, that's 50k ARR over the group of 5. Would that be right? So it'd be 100 times 5, so it'd be 500 a month. It'd be 6 million.
Yeah, that would be 6 million per year.
And then selling it at 8x multiple or no, higher than that, gets you to 50. Is that the plan to sell? Or I think the sense I get from you, Thibault, is that you really enjoy the building.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. Something that I tell myself, and it's not always the case with the co-maker that I work with, but something that seems very important to me is not selling. Like it was nice, like getting a bunch of money at one point, and of course I'm super happy and grateful for it. But it was painful. It was incredibly painful to go through this phase, to see someone else like working on your product, and sometimes like not doing what you would have done. It's so many, like I don't even, I consider the acquisition to have done in a very good way, both for us and for the acquirer. But at the same time, I really don't want to go through that again. Like it's full of conflict everywhere, because you are not, like you don't have a shared interest. So yeah, it's full of conflict.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word that you said earlier, which is clearly like a big value for you, is freedom. And selling, at least if you have an earnout, selling is going to reduce freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And then what I didn't anticipate is all the people who are DMing you because Tweetcenter broke and they want you to fix the bug, but you are not working on it anymore. I hate that.
Got it. So that is also a challenge if you do, regardless of the earnout, isn't it? Is people still assigning the product to you. I guess that is the challenge though, when you assign your personal brand to products, which is a big part of the growth of these 5 is you as a person, isn't it? But that's the price you have to pay. Epic. So final question, I'd love to know like the average day to day. So if we take today, for example, you have to share what you actually did, but obviously you're doing this interview and 1 to 2 hours, you said, on content creation. What else do you have in the pipeline today?
So like pretty, I guess, normal day, I spent an hour writing, like checking X, replying to people. I did something quite interesting where I noticed on one of our dashboard that people on Revid were asking a lot for a way to cartoonify a video. And so I spent, I think, 2 hours trying to build this cartoonifier where I would just basically, I took a 1 minute long extract of Harry Potter and I tried to just make it a cartoon. So I cut it in chunk of 5 seconds and asked extract some frame, cartoonify the frame and try to regenerate the video from the frames with an image to video model. And it didn't work. Like the result is really not here. So I don't think I'm going to ship it. I posted about this on X just to see if anyone has an idea which could just unblock me. But that was just 2 hours of experimentation, which I think are lost right now, but maybe I'll find a way to make it work. I don't know. But that's part of the game.
That's part of the game. And that's like quite a good description of what your average day is, right? So you're actually coding on that product. You're spending time promoting that.
Exactly. 2 hours coding, 1 hour writing, 1 hour talking with people, and 1 hour podcasting with you.
Which is part of the personal brand. And on that note, let's name. So we're actually a customer of Outrank, by the way. I'm really enjoying it. We've posted 4 posts, I think. I'm really excited to see the Google Search Console after a month. Banging product. So we'll link to that first. That's my favorite one. I haven't tested the rest, in all honesty. But what's the name of the other 4, just so we get the name in the episode as well?
So Revid is my video making tool, which is the biggest of my projects. Outrank is the second one. The one that I really like, which goes with Outrank, is Feather. It's a way to build a blog from a Notion. So it basically uses Notion as content management, but then publish a blog for you. And I also have Super X, which is a way to grow on X and to scale the contents and come up with contents. And the last,
And is it a similar product to Tweet Hunter?
It tries to be.
Issue?
Yeah, it tries to be with a lot of more pressure because the environment, the scheduling, the X tool space has evolved a lot, and so it raised the bar much higher, and so it's a hard product to work on.
Yeah, I can imagine. If the foundations of your building is shifting a lot, then it's quite hard to build a building. And what's the final one?
And the final is Post Syncer, which basically allow you to schedule content across, I think, 8 platforms at the moment, all the major ones.
Epic. We'll link to all them below. We'll link to your X account, obviously, and the newsletter. Anything else that we should link to or mention?
No, I think it's pretty much covered my things. Thank you very much, Tom.
My pleasure. Thibault, what an epic journey. I can't wait to follow along to the 100K over 5 products. Can't wait. I think it's a very innovative and epic model building B2B bootstrapped businesses. Thibault, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to talk about that. That was amazing.
Okay, team, thanks for listening. What do we think about Thibault's model? Epic. I think the key there is that Thibault has the technical chops, right? So he can really work effectively with the co-makers. Also now with the personal brand, must be really amplifying the growth. Shout out to Fame for producing the show. Shout out to Tibo for coming on, and shout out to you for listening.